Out of the White House, the president wrapping up a discussion with reporters some moments ago.
Mr. President, is this victory?
We're going to Michigan. We're opening up car plants in Michigan again for the first time in decades. They're coming in. They're really pouring in. Car companies are coming in. Toyota just announced $13.5 billion coming into our country. And Michigan is booming, and Ohio is booming, and North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, a lot of places. But we have a lot of car companies, and we have a lot of companies coming back into our country. And this has been happening pretty much since I've been president. It's really amazing what's going on. But again, because I'm going to Michigan, I will tell you, we'll be speaking about it tonight. We have companies coming back in, car companies. It's a great thing to see.
The bar memo said that the first time you've had an opportunity to speak at a scale like this since the Mueller report. Will this be a bit of a victory lap for you?
Well, look, I've been going through that for almost 2 years, but it's really much more than that, because if you look back, you could probably look at the insurance policy area in terms of timing. It's a disgrace what happened. This was a terrible thing that was put onto our country. Nobody's seen anything like this, probably never happened before. Beautiful conclusion. I haven't seen the report. Beautiful conclusion. And there was no collusion at all. There never was. Everybody knew it. I wish it could have gone in 1 week instead of taking almost 2 years. But the result was great. No obstruction, no collusion, no anything. It was a great, it was a great thing. But it took a long time. Well, I can't tell you whether or not it had an impact on other countries, including China. I can say this, that countries are reacting very well. We're doing very well with our trade talks with China and our trade talks and other talks with other countries. Our country is doing great. If you look at other countries, if you look at what's happening, the economies of other countries, we're leading the world economically. We're leading the world as far as our economy is concerned. We have a strong dollar. Things are going very well. And one of the reasons I'm going out tonight to Michigan is we've brought back so much industry, so many car companies to Michigan. So we're very happy.
The phone memo does say Russia interfered. What will we do in 2020 to make sure that we do not have it? What will we do in 2020 to make sure you're quiet?
The Special Olympics will be funded. I just told my people I want to fund the Special Olympics, and I've just authorized a funding of the Special Olympics. I've been to the Special Olympics. I think it's incredible, and I just authorized a funding. I heard about it this morning. I have overridden my people. We're funding the Special Olympics.
Will we see the full Mueller report?
She's a very nice lady. She's a friend of mine. I hope she does well. I hope the Brexit movement and everything happening there goes very well. But Theresa May is a very good woman, and I'll tell you what, she's strong, she's tough, and she's in there fighting.
What would you think of Boris Johnson as Prime Minister?
I like Boris Johnson a lot. He's a friend.
Why did you not get other presidents allowed to react to you funding the Special Olympics?
I've taken better care of Puerto Rico than any man ever. We have $91 billion going to Puerto Rico. We have $29 billion to Texas and $12 billion to Florida for the hurricane. Puerto Rico has been taken care of better by Donald Trump than by any living human being. And I think the people of Puerto Rico understand it. But you do have a mayor of San Juan that frankly doesn't know what she's doing. And the governor, they got to spend the money wisely. They don't know how to spend the money, and they're not spending it wisely. But I'm giving them more money than they've ever gotten. And frankly, the people of Puerto Rico, I really have a great relationship with them. And I think when it comes time, they really do appreciate it. So Obamacare has been an absolute disaster. I have asked John Barrasso, Senator, Bill Cassidy, who's a terrific healthcare person, Rick Scott, and others to take a look, form a really great plan. We're winning the lawsuit to terminate Obamacare in Texas. We are winning the Texas lawsuit, and right now we're on the winning side. Hopefully we'll win at the appellate division and go to the Supreme Court to terminate Obamacare. The cost of Obamacare to people is far too much. The deductibility is ridiculous. It averages more than $7,000, meaning it's unusable. So Obamacare has been a disaster. We will take care of pre-existing conditions better than they're taken care of now. And I've already gotten rid of the individual mandate, which was the worst part of Obamacare, where you had to pay for the privilege of not getting bad insurance. So wait a minute. So we are working very hard on that. John Barrasso, Rick Scott, we have some great people. We put together a group of 4 or 5, and Bill Cassidy is a terrific healthcare person, and they are going to work together, come up with something that's really spectacular. Maybe we'll even get support in the House from Democrats, but it's going to be far better than Obamacare. If we win on Obamacare, it will be terminated in the court, and we'll see what happens. Well, we're working on a plan now. There's no very great rush from the standpoint we're waiting for decisions in the court, but we've already won the case for the termination of Obamacare, against Obamacare. Now we'll go to the appellate division. We'll see what happens there. I think we'll win. It's in Texas. Wait. And then it goes to the Supreme Court of the United States. If the decisions are held up, if we win on the termination of Obamacare, we will have a plan that's far better than Obamacare, including, very importantly, pre-existing conditions, which I've always been in favor of. Well, I think the case in Chicago is an absolute embarrassment to our country, and I have asked that they look at it. I think that case is an absolute embarrassment to our country, and somebody has to at least take a very good, hard look at it.
All right, there's another Democratic candidate for president. He's a mayor in Florida, and his city is on fire right now. The mayor of Miramar, Florida, the 13th largest city in Florida, and again, it's driving in business left and right. And with that background, he wants to take a stab at doing something the other candidates, at least in the race that he sees, he argues cannot do. Wayne Messam joins us right now. Well, a 44 years old, former football star, and now ready to maybe take a pounce at the presidency. Mayor, very good to have you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Why are you doing this? You must have looked at the field and said, boy, that's a pretty crowded field. They got some impressive names in there outside of your city and state. You're not nearly as well known. What are you thinking?
Well, as a candidate for the President of the United States, I think what we're doing in the city of Miramar in South Florida, which has more Fortune 500 companies than any city in the Tri-County area, and as a business owner myself, I think I bring a fresh and unique perspective in terms of being a mayor in a city, a mayor that has taken jobs and manufacturing away from China, while other cities are actually losing jobs and manufacturing to China. So I think we'll be able to bring a unique perspective that's different and draws a contrast between the candidates that are running to restore the American dream for Americans across this country.
Are you? I know one of your big issues is college debt. It's a big drag on younger Americans, and you hope to address that. Many who are running for the Democratic nomination, Mayor, have been saying maybe the federal government should step in and forgive that debt. How do you feel?
Well, I think I'm the only one who actually has come out to say that because of the $1.5 trillion in debt that's owed, it's not just young people. It's mothers, it's grandmothers, fathers, working professionals that have tens of thousands or even over $100,000 in outstanding student loan debt that's crippling our economy, is stifling financial mobility for the average American.
Would you, some of your colleagues have said forgive it.
On Saturday, I would propose a plan that looks at forgiving and wiping out that outstanding debt.
All right, but how would you pay for that?
Well, obviously, when you contemplate the recent tax cuts to corporations and the richest of Americans, that's you contemplate nearly $2 trillion in that tax break. It not only is enough to cover that, but what it will do is spur the ability for Americans to be able to invest in homes and property, invest in businesses, to do the things that they can't normally do.
Business taxes, Mayor, that to pay off or to address this college debt thing, that would spur investment?
Hey, listen, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner, and I like to make money and like to make a profit. But yet, I'm a mayor that passed the living wage in our city. We're all in the same boat. And I think when we all carry our weight and work together as a nation, we're stronger as a nation. We look at our highway system. No one is saying that, yes, we have to invest in our infrastructure and our roadways. There's just certain things that we have to work together. And as a business owner, I know what it means to struggle to start a business from scratch, to make payroll. And these are the discussions and topics I look forward to debating about with my colleagues on the Democratic side, but to Americans in general. You can be a responsible business and know that you can make profits while understanding that we're still all in the same boat and we're stronger together as a nation. And I'm willing to be the champion to bring these issues to this debate.
All right, just to be clear, though, on the tax thing there, then you would take the corporate taxes, which are cut down to 21% for around 35%, you would raise them back to where they were?
I would look at repealing some of the tax that's giving back to the corporations and the richest of Americans. Because what has been proven is that the thought process is that businesses will have these tax breaks and put it back into the hands of Americans. But when you look at that, wages aren't increasing. Average Americans don't have access to health care.
It's
just living proof that we're not getting the money is.
But those wages
we're
are
not
increasing
investing
a
in
little bit
American
more than they
people.
were, right? Would you give the president any credit for the record low unemployment rates, record high employment rates for African Americans and Hispanics and women and what have you? Do you think anything he has done has made that possible?
What I will say is that the economy has been enjoying a ride since President Obama. I think that in terms of stability of our economy, I think, again, I will say that when we're all working together as a nation,
but this recovery
we can
is
have
on President Obama, it's not
responsible
on
reform and
President
taxes.
Trump.
While also being able to allow businesses to be profitable, to make the investments where they need to make, as well as being able to make sure that dollars are going back to the American people who are the engine that fuels this economy.
Okay, so real quickly, just to understand, you say this recovery that's going on and the surge in the market, what have you, that's a Barack Obama phenomenon. It's not Donald Trump in the last couple of years having anything to do with it.
Well, I think the premise of your question is not to give President Obama his credit. So I think that when you look at the reforms...
Far from it. I think I've routinely given him credit for the surge after 2009.
Okay.
But you don't want to, just to be clear, you don't see anything this president has done with the tax cuts or lower regulations to account for the activity we're seeing.
What I'm saying is that the economy and is not working for the American people. When people do not have to work 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet, the economy isn't working for Americans. When people have to make choices in regards to whether they pay their prescription medicine or to eat, it just shows that the system is broken. And I'm saying when we all work together and all realize that we are all in the same boat, that this country can thrive and we can be the leaders that we've always been.
Okay, Mayor, thank you. You're one to watch. People are watching. You got 86% of the vote in your last run. That's not too shabby. We'll keep an eye on you. Thank you, sir, for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.